To let you know if you notice more skips or glitches than usual in our episode, we are aware of it. We had some paranormal activity interfering with our audio.
We are being haunted by a ghost in Megan's apartment. We are saging her apartment. We are not going to have this problem anymore going forward, but please excuse us in this episode. We know that it's glitchy and we can't do anything about it.
We'll fix it next time once the ghost is gone.
Thanks for giving us a pass on this one. Enjoy. You want to talk about it?
I'd rather laugh about it.
Let's get a little dark about it
On the Traumedy Show.
Welcome to the frickin' Traumedy Show. I'm your co-host, Rachel Wilford.
And I'm your other co-host, Megan Wilford.
And I just caught a wasp with a cup and a paper towel that mysteriously was in here as we were trying to start this episode.
Yeah, we just had a haunting.
Yeah.
I always keep I'm like, maybe this isn't very safe to mention, but I always keep my patio door open. And the screen door has been broken forever. And I haven't been able to close it all the way. And then as you literally catch this wasp with your bare hands, I mean, also with a cup and a paper towel.
Like a brave knight.
Well, like a brave knight. It was honestly so brave. I got a little turned on. And then you go to open it and you're like, Thelonious, open the screen door. And I'm like, what do you mean the screen door? The screen door hasn't been closed for months.
The screen door hasn't been closed since Nom.
And it's like, I'm still and then, okay, I have this drawer in my TV stand, and every now and then it just likes to randomly open, and I call it my ghost drawer. So as I'm like, why is the screen door closed, blah blah blah, then the ghost drawer, I watch it slowly open. No one's touching it, it just opens, and then we're like, okay, time to podcast.
There's some witchy shit going on.
I don't like it.
We're a little thrown.
This is now a ghost podcast.
Yep, we are ghost hunters and wasp hunters.
Dun-dun-dun.
Just changed the entire premise of our podcast. So we're ghost hunting.
Oh my gosh, we have so much to talk about.
Yeah, so we shouldn't talk about the ghosts anymore. We should just freaking get to it.
I know, but just so you know, like, there is a ghost among us.
Just so you know, there are 3 people.
Well, 4. Zelda?
He's not a person.
Excuse me?
There is the ghost.
Me, you, Zelda, the ghost.
This is the most chaotic intro maybe we've ever had.
Maybe. I keep like looking over at that drawer and I'm like, what?
Yeah, our vibe is a little off right now.
I also like right before we were about to start, I was like, I think I'm going to cry.
Yeah, Megan's just like, I'm really grumpy and is like throwing the power strip, and then she sits back on the couch and is like, oh, I think I might cry. Thelonious. I think I'm just going to, and I'm like, do you want to just go and do that right now? And she's like, no, I'm going to save it for the podcast. I'm just going to cry.
I still feel like I do.
Okay. Well, do you want to just talk about that first?
Nope.
Okay. We have a lot of updates for you on this episode. Good, bad, ugly, funny, everything in between.
Uh-huh.
Do you want to do Tiny Trauma, Tiny Triumph first?
Let's start with that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's been a minute since you and I sat down and just kind of like had an update.
Yeah.
And we've just had a lot of things happen in the last few weeks.
A lot. We haven't even talked about Catalina Wine Mixer. And
No.
That was like such a big deal. So that's what we're going to do this episode too.
Yes.
We have Wolf Corner updates. We have Weatherman Corner debut, apparently. Updates from that. What the hell else? We have just like a lot of funny lore to talk about.
Funny lore.
Yeah.
My breakup.
The Hard-Launch-to-Breakup pipeline. It's an underrated pipeline.
The Instagram Hard-Launch-to-Breakup. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's okay. It happens. It was for the right reasons. We'll get to it. Yep. It's all right. Megan will cry in a little bit. Oh, or now. Shit.
It's okay.
It's gonna be okay. Okay, I'll just start with my tiny.
Okay.
Just give you a second.
Megan's crying.
Okay.
Tiny trauma.
trauma. So
I already forgot what we decided it was.
oh, well, you'll remember real quick. My tiny trauma was pretty terrible, but it also comes with some funny stories. So it was like back in January, to like set the scene, a few days after we decided we were going to do this podcast, and like a week and a half after my breakup with the weatherman, we go out on Huntington Beach, and I'm just vibing in this bar, and someone reaches their hand in my purse and steals my phone. And
now I remember. Okay.
Okay, I'm setting the scene.
Yeah.
And that was like horrible and shitty, and I didn't have a phone for a few days. I was off
So
the grid
violating.
and super violating. Like I was already in just like not a good headspace already. A lot of rage toward the weatherman.
I just broke up with my last guy when your phone got stolen.
Oh, you're right. Yeah, you did.
So apparently,
Shrek chlamydia guy.
Shrek chlamydia guy,
Yeah.
they go hand in hand.
Mm-hmm. Shit, dude. Yeah, we're a couple of patterned people.
Wow.
Apparently.
Okay.
So at that point, I bought myself a new purse that like didn't open on the top. It had this like flap over it with kind of a more obscure lock on the side. And that's what I've been using. But then in May, my mom got me this cute Michael Kors purse for my birthday that opens on the top. And I've been using that. So fast forward to this past weekend, we went down to Gaslamp, San Diego for Andrea's birthday. And on my way out the door, I had this thought, oh, maybe I should switch my purse to the one that's safer. And then I thought, nah, I'll be fine. And I didn't do it. And so we are going out in Gaslamp and we're having a great time. And before okay, maybe I'll say the tiny trauma first and then I'll go back. So we are like bar hopping around Gaslamp. It's now 2 a.m. We've been having a lot of fun. It's been like a super fun night. And then we walk outside of this bar and we're going to go 2 doors down to go get a late night slice of pizza.
Yeah.
And then go home. We probably were going to go home after that because it was 2
that was like the end of the night.
It was the end of the night. And we walk outside of this bar. I put my phone in my purse. In 60 seconds, we're walking on the sidewalk to the pizza place. And we get there. And I put my hand in my purse to grab my phone, and it's gone. It's gone. Someone just
so
reached
fast.
their hand inside my purse.
It was gone.
As we're walking on the sidewalk.
And of course, we immediately check Find My Phone.
Yeah.
We immediately call it.
It's turned off.
Yeah.
I just was like, I've been through this before. I know what this is. It's gone. It's done. I just admitted defeat. And then, yeah, I mean, like the anger, emotions, and sad came a little bit later. And
well, you did kind of
street.
Yeah, scream into your arm.
I did. On
the street corner.
I did scream into my arm, a muffled scream.
As I'm like drunk but also sober really quick because I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm trying to call an Uber and I'm on the phone with the Uber and you're crouched down on the floor screaming.
Did you know Bahamas guy walked past me at that point?
Oh, he did?
Yeah. Okay, so
oh my gosh.
So I got my phone stolen and it sucks. And I didn't have it for a few days. I was off the grid again. This time I took it on the chin a little bit better. I just was like, this just is what it is.
Took it on the chin, filler.
That would be you if you got your phone stolen. But so before my okay, I'm just gonna tell this story now because it's relevant.
Yeah.
Okay, so a couple different parts of the story. Our friend Nicole, she took an Uber earlier that day, and she texts us and she's like, oh my gosh, I totally hit it off with my Uber driver. His name, we'll call him Greg.
Okay.
She was like, he's so cute. He was so nice. Like, we align on so many things. Like, we were just flirting and vibing. I got his number and he's going to come out and meet us tonight. I'm like, okay, cool. And so then we are at Tipsy Crow in the Gaslamp and Greg arrives. And so he's very engaging. I don't know if you even got to talk to him.
Barely.
I talked to him for a while. We were speaking Spanish. I talked to him for a while to the point, and then he's like spinning her around the bar and being all cute. And she's trying to like set me up with, some other guys in the bar.
Yeah.
And he was all, about it, being a homie. And I said to her, I really like him for you. Like, I actually had like really good vibes about this guy, and I thought he was cool. So at the same time, and I'm in a brunette wig to set the scene. I'm in a brunette wig because we all dressed up like our friend Andrea that night and surprised her, and she's brunette. So I'm not looking like my normal self. And so Nicole and I were kind of playing this game of, she was showing, she knows kind of what my type is, but I would point out a guy to her and she'd be like, yeah, I know you're eyeing him. And she would go over to him and kind of point at me and be like, do you like her like that, or do you like her like this? And show him a photo of me blonde.
I didn't even know this was happening.
Yeah, this happened a couple times. So
I never see you when we hang out in groups.
Yeah, I know,
So-
yeah. Megan and I, that's the thing to
Yeah.
know about Megan and I. We don't interact in social settings. when it's like a big group, she and I are just like, oh, I haven't seen you in hours, Thelonious. Like,
I did not know at all Nicole was doing that for you, Al.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what I was doing,
I don't
but
know
I
what
was
you're doing either.
not in your business.
I literally act like you don't exist, and vice versa. You're invisible to me.
Well, then it just gives us more content to talk about.
And I think so. Like, now
Yeah.
you're hearing this story basically for the first time,
Wow.
even though you were there.
I was there.
So Nicole, I'm
I
pretty
had
sure.
no idea she was doing that.
yeah, we were having fun.
Uh-huh.
And so this next guy I'm gonna call Bahamas guy. He Nicole goes up to this guy, does the picture thing, and I'm in the middle of a conversation with somebody. And he makes his way over to me, taps me on the shoulder, and introduces himself. And
I'm Bahamas guy.
yeah, we start talking. And he's like, I don't know if you know, like, your friend came over and showed me a picture of you. I think you're really beautiful, whatever. And we started talking, like, where are you from, like, all this stuff. We were vibing, and you start taking videos of it. And
Yeah.
I think you asked him how old he was.
Yeah, I saw what was happening, and I just went over and I was like, come here. Hey, come here. I was like, how old are you? He was like, why? What? He got all defensive. And I was like, no, just tell me. It's fine. Just tell me. Just tell me. And then he said he was 25. And I kind of gave him this look of like, we can work with
It's
that.
like right on the cusp.
It's not ideal.
It's not ideal. No.
For me, no. Because I'm so much older than you. Because I'm an old maid.
I mean, I'm 29. I'm not looking for a 25-year-old. That's not what I'm looking for.
Like 25 wouldn't be on our Hinge age thing. But if you meet
that's
one in the
below.
wild,
Yeah.
exceptions could be made.
He was a cute 25-year-old.
He was a cute 20 and he was tall.
And he was tall.
Uh-huh.
And that helps. So he asked me what I do for work. I tell him. And then he tells me, like, oh my gosh, no way. Like, I'm affiliated with them too, or I have been in the past. And then he goes, how's your PTO? And I was like, it's good, baby. Why? Where are we going? And he's like, do you want to go to the Bahamas next month? And I was like, yeah, I do want to go to the Bahamas next month.
The confidence of a 25-year-old man.
I'm like, yeah, when do we leave?
Uh-huh.
And so we exchanged numbers, and then we kind of just like go our separate ways. And I'm like, I'm going to the Bahamas with a 25-year-old next month. Like, whatever, right? Just thinking it's so funny. And then this next part's like a blur, but Nicole comes over to me like pretty shortly after that interaction ends. And I hear her go, he has a girlfriend of 3.5 years and something about wasting breath.
Yeah.
And Lauren, everybody walks outside the bar except for me and Lauren.
Uh-huh.
And I'm standing there stunned because I'm thinking Nicole's talking about Bahamas guy.
Uh-huh.
Somehow she's figured out that Bahamas guy has a girlfriend of 3.5 years. And I'm looking around the bar and I'm like, not on my watch. Not today. So literally, and Lauren can vouch for this, I finish my drink, I crush it, I slam it down on something, a table, maybe someone's head, I don't even know. And I march straight up to this guy who's now at the bar. I march up to a Bahamas guy and I say into his ear, you should not be doing that if you have a girlfriend of 3.5 years. And I just like whip my wig in his face and walk out the door.
He's like, what the heck? How did he respond to that?
He said something, like he was stunned.
Yeah.
And
You should not be. I could see it.
I was talking to him like I was his mother all of a sudden. And so then I go outside and I'm all proud of myself. And I go up to you.
You're like, guess what I just did?
I told him.
Yeah.
And then I tell you guys, and Nicole's like, no, not him. Greg, the Uber driver guy. I'm like, no.
Oh, no.
I just like fall to the ground. I started like peeing my pants laughing. I thought it was so funny. And then I'm like, shit, now I don't get to go to the Bahamas. There's no way he's going to want to take me to the Bahamas. He texts me like right then and he goes, no girlfriend. I don't know what you heard, but it ain't true. I don't have a girlfriend. And I go, oh shit, I'm so sorry. That was a misunderstanding. I apologize. And then I was like, there's no way I'm going to hear from Bahamas guy again. And then I got my phone stolen. So I really thought I wasn't going to hear from Bahamas guy again. Because when my phone got stolen last time, nobody was able to send me texts unless I started it from like my iCloud on my iPad or whatever. Like it was from like my iCloud email. But then I got home that day and my laptop had texts from some people. So I thought this whole time, I don't know, I'm getting texts from some people and not others or whatever. But I did have texts from Bahamas guy.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was like, he likes the crazy.
Has he still been messaging you?
Yeah.
Did he today?
I haven't texted him back yet.
Are you going to go to the Bahamas with him next month?
I'm considering going to the Bahamas with a 25-year-old for the plot, Thelonious.
I respect that, but like at this point, like I want to go.
I think I would have to like insinuate some benefits for him in that way.
Well, I mean, maybe we just like don't bring him.
Oh, just you and I go to the Bahamas.
Yeah.
Like take the 25-year-old out of the equation.
Yeah.
Okay. I like that better.
That's what I'm saying.
So that's my
was that your
long story
tiny
of my tiny trauma? Yeah, my tiny
turned traumedy?
Yeah, turned to traumedy, truly. My tiny, you want me to say my tiny triumph?
Yeah.
Okay. My tiny triumph is that I was I'm trying to decide which one I want to do. Okay. One of my best friends and I haven't really been friends for like 6 months. We've had a lot of miscommunications and misunderstandings, unfortunately, and it's been super tough. And we finally last night were able to get together and I think get on the same page and just wipe the slate clean and kind of let bygones be bygones and hopefully move forward now. So that's more of a major triumph than a tiny triumph. So yeah, I'm hopeful and yeah, that's my tiny triumph. Okay, go.
Those always sometimes mean a lot. No, some ways more than relationships or dating or whatnot. Like friendships can really have an impact on you.
Yeah, it's been shitty.
Yeah.
I mean, it's, someone that's been really close to me my entire life, essentially. So it's not fun. It's a lot of growing pains and stuff, I think, right now. So
yeah, we are in an interesting stage of life.
Sure are. It's never a dull moment.
I already forgot what mine were.
Tiny trauma.
Oh, yes, I remember. Okay, so last Saturday was one of the more hectic days you and I have had.
Yeah, it was the same day my phone got stolen.
Yes. So I have LaCroix burps, excuse me. I wake up at 8 a.m. to do a cosplay bikini photo shoot in LA before we go out to Gaslamp that night. So that was just my day. I had it planned for a long time with another cosplayer who goes by Black Princess Peach on Instagram. She's great. I just call her Peach. I am getting ready, drive down there, running late, LA traffic. First of all, I had to pick her up in like the Inglewood, Compton area.
And describe what you're wearing.
I am wearing my full Princess Peach cosplay and a bikini, a string bikini with a little tiny like sarong wrap, and flip-flops. And so
the whole Princess Peach, like
whole Princess Peach cosplay.
The whole thing.
The whole thing. and she was running late, and so she asked if I could like go get Starbucks, and I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. I didn't really realize like the area I was in, I just stuck out like a sore thumb.
You were in Compton
In
as Princess Peach.
Bikini Princess Peach.
Bikini Princess Peach goes to Compton.
The whitest woman known to this land. Walking in, and like the Starbucks that I ordered and not that this is like the trauma part. This part's just funny. Mm-hmm. Not that I ordered my Starbucks and I thought it was going to be in and out real quick pick up, but no, it's in a grocery store, Ralph's Starbucks, and they were really behind to make my drink. Mm-hmm. So I was in there for a solid like 8 minutes, just standing right by the checkout, and I'm just like causing a scene. Everyone is I did not belong.
Even if you did this in like Orange County or something,
yeah,
it still would be causing a scene.
Yeah. Princess Peach
in a Compton Ralph's in a bikini. It's so funny.
I texted you and I was like, Thelonious, I'm uncomfortable.
Got the security guard.
Oh yeah, the security guard, the most like gorgeous black man I've ever seen. He was like 6'7" or something like that. As I'm walking out, he was like, did it take you a long time to get ready or something like that? And I was just like, haha, yeah. So that happened, and then I pick Peach up, and we're on our way up to Pasadena. So we have a whole nother 45-minute drive, and we're running late. It's like 100 degrees outside. It's bumper to bumper traffic, and I'm looking down at my phone at the maps, and I hit the car in front of me.
Because we know Megan's driving is a point of contention.
I was so embarrassed and like so frustrated because I knew that this would be like, oh great, more evidence that Megan can't drive. Like
even Josie said that when she
Josie, one of our listeners and friends, and she also cosplays. As soon as I put it on my cosplay Instagram story, she's like, oh, I can't wait to hear you guys talk about this on the pod. Like even more evidence Megan shouldn't drive a car. And I'm like, oh my god,
Megan needs her license taken away.
And it was a love tap. Mm-hmm. Like there was no damage. It was just like the little, like as you're parallel parking when you sometimes bump the car behind you or whatever. Mm-hmm. That's what it was. But it was still like, oh my gosh, okay, now we have to get off the freeway. Now I need to pull over and give this guy my insurance card.
Get out of your car in your Princess Peach.
I had to then get out of my car in my Princess Peach cosplay, and it's so hot, and I pull up in front of this like valet parking stuff. They're yelling at me. Mm-hmm. This man that I hit was honestly not that phased. Mm-hmm. I think he was worried I was gonna sue him.
Oh,
he said like, please don't sue me.
Oh
yeah. And then
maybe did he not have insurance or something, and he's
maybe. Honestly, I feel like he and I, neither of us wanted to be there. Neither of us wanted to take pictures or exchange insurance, but we both were like, we should do this because this is a thing you're supposed to do in car crashes.
Yeah.
And I was looking at it and I was like, I don't see any damage. And he's like, I don't see any damage either. And it was like, great.
See ya.
But we still ended up, we like called each other. We gave each other our licenses and our insurance. But I also had so much trouble getting my fucking insurance card because it's Face ID recognized. And it didn't recognize my cosplay face because of my Princess Peach bangs.
You're like pulling up your wig, and you're wearing colored contacts too, right?
So even when I was like pulling up the big like triangle heart bangs, it was really struggling. And I was just so embarrassed and panicked, and Peach is in the car just filming and laughing, and I'm like, wow, I'm driving someone whose first time in my vehicle, and this happens. And then we get to the shoot really late, and it was a good shoot. Like I'm glad we got the photos, and I can't wait to share them, but that was a wee bit stressful. And then had to drive back to Orange County really quickly, get out of cosplay, dress up as Andrea, and then we get our asses down to San Diego to go out.
And I was like, how about I drive the rest of the day, Thelonious? Yes.
I was so done. Mm-hmm. So done driving. I would love to be the passenger Princess Peach passenger princess for the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need someone to
just do it for me,
please. So that was my tiny trauma. But I got a funny TikTok reel out of it.
It's a hilarious story. And you didn't have to, there was no damage to his car or anything.
No,
so it's okay.
There's no way. I haven't heard diddly squat from him since.
Perfect.
He's not going to do anything. If you don't follow my cosplay account already, you can go watch a plug cosplay with Meg on Instagram. You can go watch the reel of said accident. Mm-hmm. And then that's my tiny trauma. My tiny triumph. I struggled so hard to think of something positive that happened because this has honestly been
a week.
It's been a week. But this is a triumph that's also a trauma. But I mean, as we mentioned, I broke up with my boyfriend yesterday. And I think it's a triumph in that I knew it was the right thing to do. And I'm proud of myself for doing it and for listening to myself and for being self-aware and making this difficult decision. It's traumatic because
a breakup?
It was a breakup. I still really liked him. I didn't want to end it. I didn't want to hurt him. So
you could have stayed in a lot longer, but you made a really hard choice.
Yeah.
And that's definitely a triumph.
It's a triumph. It's still very fresh.
It's a raw triumph.
It's a raw triumph. The raw bar of triumphs.
Yeah, and that's okay.
All right, Thelonious.
All right, Thelonious. We're sad.
So I know this is a seamless transition from the first 26 minutes of the episode you've listened to so far, but this is the second time now we are recording this because the audio just stopped recording yesterday. So we met yesterday and recorded 26 minutes of it. Then for the next hour and a half, we were just talking to each other.
We were just talking into the void.
Yep. And
because our stupid pod track piece of crap decided to just be like, no, I'm done. Thank you, but no thank you.
So weird.
I'm just done.
I was hoping today something was going to happen to be like, oh, there's a reason why, or like now, but no. Like nothing really happened today that would have changed what we said, No. It really was for nothing.
It was all for nothing.
Like Satan really won. And even when you came over to my apartment today, you're just like, hi, Thelonious. Like, we're so grumpy.
We're so sad. You know what? Maybe we'll be funnier on this episode now in this version of the recording.
Yeah. Okay. Catalina Wine Mixer.
Catalina Wine Mixer.
This was what, a few weeks ago now?
Yeah. This is the first weekend in June. And we haven't even talked about it yet, but we had a super good time. And to start from the very beginning, we gotta start from the Vin Diesel. The Vin Diesel of it all.
The Vin Diesel moment. So to set the scene, we were out the night before at a comedy show, Mulligan's. Like we were all kind of doing our own thing and we were drinking a little bit. And I took it upon myself to decide the time that we would all need to leave the next morning to make the ferry on time. And I think I said 10:30. 10:45.
Yeah, I think he said we need to leave by 10:45, and our ferry left at 12:15 from Long Beach, and it is an hour drive to Long Beach from here. And mind you, we have 4 people, and we need to pick them up from all 4 places and drop my dog off.
Yeah.
So
that wasn't accounting for any.
It wasn't enough time.
No, it really wasn't. It wasn't accounting for any traffic. It wasn't accounting for pickups. It wasn't accounting for parking.
No.
Suitcases. It was a rookie move on my part, but then you were not paying attention the night before and were just like, yeah, sounds great, Megan. So I made the collective call. Nobody checked me on it.
No, and then the next morning, my hungover ass is getting ready to go, and I'm starting to do the mental math of, oh, this is not enough time, and I start panicking. And it was literally a split decision between me driving to the Long Beach ferry or you driving. And luckily, we decided I was going to drive.
There's no way I could have done that.
No, because so I get my stuff in the car. I go and pick up Megan, and I am stressing. She gets in the car.
I quickly realized the situation we were in.
It was
when I assess your mood getting in that vehicle. It was like, oh no,
something's
not right. Yeah.
And so I race us over to my parents' house to drop my dog off, and we have Nicole meet us there so that we save a stop. And then we still have to pick up Lauren in Irvine on the way to Long Beach. Yeah. And we're on our way. We're on the freeway, and in Mission Viejo, which is still like another 45 minutes from Long Beach, traffic just stops.
Yeah.
It's dead stopped on the freeway. There was a bad accident, and we're just not moving. Like, I'm parked on the freeway. And we're just watching our ETA climb. Like, Megan's on the nav, and the minutes are just climbing. And I start kind of silently crying in my head and accepting the fact that we're not going to make it to the Catalina Wine Mixer because we're not going to make it to our ferry. And if we don't make it to our ferry, we're not going to get on any ferry because they're all sold out for the weekend.
We already had to go to Long Beach instead of Dana Point because they sold out so much. Yeah. Like, this was a huge event. We were lucky we even got ferry tickets.
Yes, correct.
So not making this ferry, we would have just... Yeah, crucial.
So I'm starting to accept Catalina Wine Mixer is not a go. And then traffic starts moving finally.
Very slowly.
I just kind of tell Megan and Nicole in my car, all right, ladies, buckle up. And I'm like, Megan, call Lauren and have her meet us like on the side of the freeway, like right off the freeway. I can't go to her house. We don't have time. And so we figure out a Hilton hotel that she's going to meet us at right off the freeway. And I go 120 miles per hour on the freeway. I quite literally become Vin Diesel from Fast and Furious 1 through 75. I don't know how many installments of that movie there are, but many.
Except the stakes were higher.
The stakes were so much higher.
Vin Diesel was never trying to make a ferry to the Catalina Wine Mixer.
No, he certainly was not. And I feel like you were... it was mostly you, but it was also kind of a team effort because I was navigating to Lauren. Yes. I was telling her which hotel to go at. Yes. I was directing you, and I had Waze, Apple Maps, Google Maps. Yeah. All being like, okay, yes, now, okay. And we're all looking for cops in every direction. And like Nicole, is helping me. Like, you have time. Go. You can move to the right lane. Like, I've never been so focused in my whole life. And so we pull off at Irvine, the Hilton. I don't even stop the car. Lauren's like, has her coffee in her bag, and she's like, should I put it in the trunk? And I'm
get in!
No, get in! I don't even stop as she hops in the moving vehicle. And as soon as she's in, I just peel out. I don't even wait for her to have her seatbelt on. I get back on the freeway. I'm going 120 miles per hour. I'm just cranking the music. You guys are all just screaming, fist pumping at me every time I make a move. It was it was Tetris.
Every time you passed
Mario
someone,
Kart.
we were like, woo! People were honking, flipping.
Oh yeah. People were like speeding up so that I couldn't pass them. I'm like, I don't think you understand. I'm not trying to be an asshole right now. I'm trying to go get drunk on an island.
Don't take it personally.
I have a ticket for this event. I have a ticket for this ferry. I must make it. There is not a world in which I don't make it. Yeah. Paul Walker is watching. He's the one that died from Fast and Furious.
I just look at Rachel and mouth. Who's that? Paul Walker.
He's the actor from. He's
Is this going to be another one of those moments where people are mad at me? Okay, I've never seen Fast and Furious.
I haven't really either. I've only seen like bits and pieces, but I clearly know enough to reference the lore. At least the actors.
True.
Both alive and deceased.
We'd also like to preface, we don't necessarily endorse this action.
What you do in your car is your business. We stand by that. We've said that from the beginning.
And only a special kind of person could have done this.
It could only have been
we were safe in your hands.
It couldn't have been you. I knew I was going to get us there safely. I could have, gotten us there with a big fat fine. Could have done that.
Yeah.
I made a lot of enemies, probably. I think I got us there with a lot of enemies. But I got us there.
You got it, and you shaved off like 20 minutes or something.
I think it was 10.
Okay.
I think I know you're trying to give me extra and I love you for it, but I gotta keep it honest. I think I shaved off 10 minutes from our ETA.
Okay.
So it was like,
but that was a crucial 10 minutes.
It was because we weren't going to make it.
No.
And instead we got there at 12:05 when our ferry left at 12:15.
As it was boarding. Like we get there as people are walking on to the boat.
Yeah.
So we make it.
We make it. We get on the ferry. I sit down and I just have to kind of decompress for like half an hour.
Yeah, you were not okay.
No, the adrenaline was insane. And then
at one point I took a picture of you driving. We'll definitely have to post that when you were in the zone.
Yeah. And then Nicole goes, "Oh, my friends are just randomly here going to the Catalina Wine Mixer. They came in on their yacht."
Oh, yeah.
And we're like, "What?" She's like, "Do you want to go on their yacht? Their 90-foot yacht after we get off the ferry before we go to the Catalina Wine Mixer?" We're like, "Sure do."
Of course we do.
So
Yeah.
we land. We land? Do you land a boat? No.
We docked.
We docked.
We arrived.
We arrived.
Uh-huh.
We land. We land on the water. Catalina Island. And they pick us up in a little Duffy boat and take us to their fancy yacht. And you and I were able to make the Boats and Hoes video.
That's where we made the iconic music video. And we got fresh fish tacos that were made for us. And we got wine. And we had a gorgeous little yacht moment.
It was so epic.
I've never been on a yacht like that before.
Yeah, no. And it was totally on a whim.
Yeah.
It was insane.
I feel like I belong on a yacht after that.
I think we do belong on yachts.
I think if anyone has a yacht,
we're accepting applications.
We are.
So we spend some epic time on this yacht.
Yep.
And then we hit our hotel and then we start making our trek to the Catalina Wine Mixer. What we didn't know was that there is a time limit for how long you get to be served wine at the Catalina Wine Mixer.
Yeah, it was unclear if it was going to be free or not, the alcohol. And then we get there at 5:15 and we realize the free wine samples were from 4 to 6.
Yep.
So this was another like crucial mission. You already had to like fly down the freeway.
I start Mario Karting around the Catalina Wine Mixer.
Yeah.
And just hit me again, bartender.
You were like because it's this giant like open grass field in front of a stage surrounded by all of these vendors with wine.
Yeah.
And you get little tastings. And so you're weaving in and out of people, like finding ones with short lines to get more tastings of wine.
We had 45 minutes to get drunk.
Well, and we needed to like it was a financial decision. Like girl math wise, we needed to get as drunk as possible to make our ticket worth it.
Exactly. Yeah.
It was the responsible thing to do.
No, it was fiscal. Like my financial advisor would agree.
We had a fiscal responsibility.
We had a fiscal responsibility
to get turned
as much wine as we possibly could in that 45 minutes. And we did. We were running around just filling her up and
you were throwing it back.
Throwing it back.
You were throwing back Chardonnay like
sure
I
was
never seen. And then you meet a boy.
Oh my God. Okay. So this is what we're gonna call the Catalina Wine Ghost. Spoiler alert. So I walk up to this booth.
Wait, Thelonious. Maybe the ghost from yesterday fucked with our audio.
That's who it was. Oh.
I actually just felt kind of weird.
Oh.
Because yesterday started off so weird because of the wasp and the screen door and the ghost drawer.
And then all of a sudden our audio just like, it's literally like someone came and pressed the button like at the end of a sentence. Like it was a perfect stopping point too, where the audio cut off.
I just got like full body chills.
Oh, I'm creeped out now.
I don't like that.
I'm really creeped out now. No, you guys, I think there's actually a ghost in here because your curtains keep falling too.
Yes, my curtains keep falling.
Why is this so spooky all of a sudden? Is it Halloween?
Can we like low-key get some sage tomorrow?
Yeah.
Like I kind of want to bless this mess. The way you said Catalina Wine Ghost and it was like, that's what happened.
Yeah, I'm not even like a supernatural like ghosty kind of gal, but yeah, no, it's like adding up a little bit. It's weird.
Hopefully it's gone now.
Okay.
The drawer didn't.
Your screen is like slightly ajar.
I did that.
All right.
Yeah.
You know what's weird in my pun calendar today?
Uh-huh.
I flipped it over for today's and it says it was a B and it said we belong together.
Interesting.
Yeah.
After the wasp
After
yesterday.
The wasp yesterday, yeah.
Well, maybe we have a friendly little podcast jokes or friendly little podcast ghost who's a trickster, and
what are we gonna call her? Trixie? Trixie?
No, that doesn't sit right.
What is it? You feel the spirit. You live here.
Magnolia.
Magnolia.
Maybe I was thinking of the sweet magnolias from Uncle Chris's.
Maybe.
But that's what I was feeling, because I feel like it's like a vintage, or like she's from a long time ago.
From Yore.
Yes. She's from Yore. Mm-hmm. Her name is Magnolia.
Magnolia from Yore.
She wants to be a guest on the pod.
Oh, shit. She told you that now?
Yeah.
Did she speak? Or is she only going to like stop us from recording?
This becomes a ghost podcast and we get
Holy
those little
shit.
like rods.
No. Oh my God. Oh my God, dude. Okay.
Okay, anyway.
Magnolia, can you please just let us finish this time, because I don't think we're going to get through a third re-record of this.
No.
Okay.
I think a ghost stopped our record.
No, I literally actually believe it, and I'm not usually one to believe it. Okay, the Catalina Wine Ghost.
Okay.
Catalina Wine Ghost. So I walk up to this booth, and to get wine, there's like 15 minutes left of my 45 minutes.
Yeah.
And I'm just walking around by myself. I go up to this booth and hold out my cup and quickly look at the person pouring, and I'm like, oh, he's super cute. We make eye contact. We kind of talk a little bit. And then I see Lauren. We go back to his booth. We talk a little bit again, and she's like, he's so cute. He's so into you. And I was like, really? Because yeah, I'm super down too. And I also was thinking that he was giving me a vibe, and I was like, do you want to go give him my number? And she's like, yes. So she does. She comes back and she's like, oh, he was so excited. He was so excited that you wanted his number. And so we start talking, and he had to go home that night because he was running a half marathon the next day. And so I like didn't see him again, but we were texting for days, and he very quickly was like, I want to come take you out to this place on this night. And he was like very into me. Yeah. Very like golden retriever kind of energy. And I was like, wow, this is so fun.
Yeah.
And then the night before we're supposed to go out, I respond to his text, as we've been texting like consistently for like 5 days now. And then and he has his red receipts on. My message delivers, and he never reads it, never responds the next day, the day that we're supposed to have our date.
That's so
And I'm not going to
weird.
follow up.
No.
Yeah, no, I'm not. I spent months chasing a person. I'm not doing that.
No, we're not in the business of following up with wine ghosts.
I retired from chasing men in January.
It's the Kendall Jenner meme of like, I don't chase, I attract.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly that. Yeah. So
you didn't, what's the Dua Lipa? Like, you didn't catch him before he went Houdini. Houdini.
Houdini shit. Yeah, the little Catalina Wine Houdini. Yeah. So I got ghosted by the guy at the Catalina Wine Mixer. It was a bummer.
With his red receipts on.
Okay. Yeah. Yes. And now, so this is what I would like to talk about. Red receipts. Ooh. Men who have their red receipts on. The Weatherman had his red receipts on, and the Catalina Wine Ghost had his red receipts on. And I just feel as though men who have their red receipts on, they want you to like have this perception that they're open and transparent, but in reality, they're kind of playing this little like mental game. And so I'm convinced that you can't trust a man who has his red receipts on.
How do you feel about like a woman with her red receipts on? Like a girlfriend? Is that just weird to you? Or do you not have an opinion on it?
Like if you had your red receipts on?
Yeah, like if I had my red receipts on.
No, I would think that you were being like extra communicative.
Interesting.
But I know you really well. Like I wouldn't think that you were doing it as like a manipulative thing.
I don't think women do it manipulatively. But
I don't know any women with red receipts on.
I think Blake does.
Oh, that's right. Blake does do it. Yeah, I want to ask Blake why she has her.
We call her out on the pod.
Yeah. I want to like understand the psychology behind.
Well, I feel like 3% of people have their red receipts on.
Yeah, it's low. It's low.
Yeah.
Because like
if you do, tell us, why do you have your red receipts on?
Yeah, no, I actually genuinely want to know, because typically like men who have their red receipts on, it doesn't end well.
No, bad signs.
Yeah.
Or they just are dumb and they don't know that it's on.
Well, I feel like the weatherman would use it as this thing of like, oh, she doesn't know. Like it's.
He would purposely not open your text so that it was like, I'm away from my phone right now.
Yeah.
I haven't read your message yet.
I'm
so you
sleeping,
can't.
I'm this, I'm that, whatever. I don't know. Whereas like delivered is just like, I don't know. I think people do it as a way to like come across as more transparent and communicative in like this extra little layer of like, when I read your message. Mm-hmm. But I don't think it actually is that. I think it's kind of the opposite, because then people like don't open your shit on purpose because they don't want you to see that you've read it. Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know how to explain what I mean, really.
I'm tracking. I think our readers.
If you're reading this podcast,
if you're reading that, dear gentle reader, I think I'm just like in Bridgerton mode. Let us know your thoughts
on red receipts.
We don't trust them.
No, I don't trust them one bit. Yeah, so that's the story of the Catalina Wine Ghost.
The rest of the mixer was fun.
Yeah,
we got pretty drunk. We made some funny TikToks. Mm-hmm. We got some ice cream.
We went out downtown.
We went dancing.
Nicole got fake arrested. She asked this policeman if he could fake arrest her, and I took pictures at the same time so she could send them to her dad. And so he like put her in handcuffs and put her in the car.
That's always fun. What a hoot.
Yeah. Did you say what a hoot?
What a hoot. What a riot. No.
Yeah, at the end of the day, Catalina Wine Mixer was super fun. I would definitely go back. I think we should go back next year. And
it needs to be an annual thing.
From 4 to 6, so that I'm not running around chugging wine like a maniac.
We get drunk slowly over 2 hours like a normal person.
like health queens.
Yes.
Okay, Thelonious, should we transition to, we have Wolf Corner and Weatherman Corner.
Yep, let's do it.
Okay, so we got together with our friend Cole and Blake a few days ago. And Cole is married to one of the Wolf's longtime friends. They're not really close anymore, but she gave me some updates from the past couple weeks that I had no idea about. Breaking news: the Wolf no longer works at one of his other jobs now. So 2 out of 3 are donezo.
Leave that at that.
Let that hang in the balance, and just you can come to your own conclusions on that. So that was an interesting development. And then the other thing was that he apparently a couple weeks ago, he sent out a round of texts, as he does, to his like group of guy friends saying like, oh, I'm just feeling low and I need friends and whatever and blah, blah, blah. And a couple of them responded and were like, yeah, we just weren't super close before, I don't really trust you. Like, I wish you all the best, but like, I gotta kind of bow out gracefully.
Set some boundaries.
Yeah. Because again, to this day, he still hasn't taken ownership for anything that he's done. And now everybody, knows the truth, and he's still just kind of in denial or whatever. And so nobody trusts him. And it's a little scary. And so Cole's husband sent him a really long, nice text that said something along the lines of like, hey, I've known you for a long time. I care about you. I wish you the best. I would be willing to give you a chance if you were able to take ownership and come clean about these things and like, you know, kind of make amends in that way or whatever, then I could feel like I could trust you and give you a chance.
Which is really kind and generous to say.
Yeah. And totally fair.
Yes.
Totally fair.
Uh-huh.
And apparently the wolf responded to the people who rejected him, but not to the one that said he would give him a chance if he came clean. Yeah.
Just complete radio silence.
Yeah. That just kind of says it all right there.
Yep.
So there's that. And then it's interesting because around that time, prophetic dream corner, I had a dream about, so there's 3 friends of the wolf that are like his best friends, and all 3 of them unfollowed me on Instagram because the wolf asked them to in September when I started kind of being more forthcoming after we sold our house about what actually went down. I was able to actually start telling the truth of things, and he asked them to unfollow me on Instagram, so they did. One of them, his name is Luke. On a Sunday night, he texted me. He basically had listened to the podcast. He was like having a hard time, you know, like hearing those things, but he was open to being a part of my healing if there's anything I ever wanted to talk to him about or ask about, which was really cool to hear from him. I never expected to be honest. And then like around that same time, I had a dream that one of the other 3 guys, I'll call him Matthew and I'll call his wife Morgan. I dreamed that I got invited to Morgan's birthday party, and everyone there was wearing blue, which in dreams is very symbolic of kind of like cleansing, like fresh start. It's a very positive color. And you were there in this dream with me. And I remember scanning the birthday party, looking for the wolf, and didn't see him, and then learned that he wasn't invited. And then later on when we left this party, I was giving Matthew a hug and I started crying. Really important to her. Like, you mean a lot to her and she loves you. And that was my dream. And I thought it was so interesting. And then 2 days later, Morgan follows the podcast account on, I think it was,
this is in real
TikTok
life
and Instagram. Yeah.
Yeah. 2 days later in real life, right after this dream.
She follows the podcast social accounts.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard from her since this breakup, but, I know that she said if he and I ever broke up, she would choose me. Like, she didn't actually like the wolf ever. And so it was kind of surprising to me that I hadn't heard from her, but I just figured it was kind of a uncomfortable kind of political thing because Matthew's his friend and whatever. And was so totally fine. But yeah, I had this dream and then she followed the accounts and I was like, this is cool. And then I learned that at that time, apparently the wolf took a road trip up the coast of California by himself, and he reached out to Matthew because Matthew lives up more central northern California, and said, hey, I'm in town. I'd love to see you. And Matthew responded and said, basically no, and skip town. Can't see you.
Yeah.
Around that same time that I was having that dream. So
I feel like there was conversations in between Matthew and Morgan happening, and there was like kind of decisions being made, alliances being made, the wolf reaching out, them rejecting the wolf, and Morgan then following us on Instagram.
Yeah.
All while you were dreaming about them at the same time.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. It's like you were tied to them somehow and it manifested in your sleep.
Yeah. So some little nuggets for Wolf Corner, and then debuting Weatherman Corner.
I want there to be like a thunderclap when you say that.
Ooh, I can try to do a little sound effect. I'll do a little sound. Ooh, maybe I should add in sound effects for Wolf Corner and Weatherman Corner.
Yeah.
That's kind of fun.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll do that. So, Weatherman Corner, first time ever because we just launched his 2 episodes. And we debuted his first episode a couple weeks ago, and the night before it launched, I saw him creeping on the accounts, so I knew that he knew. And then it was 2 days after the first episode went. I was walking on the trail that I have walked on every single day for the last year since the wolf and I broke up. I have never once seen a snake on that trail, and I saw a massive snake.
Spooky.
Yeah, and it was black and had white stripes, and I looked up what kind of snake it was, and it's called a California king snake. And the psychic that I talked to, when she talked about the weatherman, she said that he had a king vibration. And I already knew that I was going to hear from him at some point. I didn't think that it would be quick. I thought because he's so avoidant, it would be like a month from now or something. I would get a text from him. Mm-hmm. I knew he'd be too curious and he would listen. But yeah, so I took that as a sign of I'm definitely going to hear from him and I need to prepare myself. And then the second episode went the following week, and it was Saturday morning, the really chaotic day that we had where you had Princess Peach cosplay, and I got together with somebody who needed me as a resource because their boyfriend cheated on them and she just broke up with him. And then we went to Gaslamp and my phone got stolen. It was that crazy day. That day I woke up, looked at my phone, and I had a missed call and a voicemail from the weatherman at 2 a.m. While I was sleeping. And the voicemail was 45 seconds long.
Hey, buddy.
What?
I said, hey, buddy.
Again. Yeah, it started with, hey, buddy. Just like that.
Yeah.
Which is how he would talk to me when we were dating. That's something that he would say. Hey, buddy. I just finished listening to your podcast. I'm really sorry. I didn't realize that I caused that much suffering. It was very insightful. And I'm really sorry. Yeah, that's about it. And hangs up.
Did he end it with that's about it?
Yeah. And yeah, that's about it.
So interesting.
Yeah. And
mention what Jack said.
Okay. Yeah, I immediately sent the screenshot of my lock screen.
Yeah.
And the voicemail to everyone in my inner circle and my secondary
You
circle.
got to share the drama. Like, this is breaking news.
It's breaking news.
Yeah.
In the soap opera that is my life. And he was like, the dude dug deep and all he could come up with was a plate of shit.
Which I think kind of sums it up. Not
pretty much. I mean, like,
I can respect it and be like, I'm glad he called. I'm glad he apologized.
It's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
It's better than so you hate me.
Yeah. It seemed like he kind of took ownership a little.
Yeah.
bit.
I mean, let's break it down, Thelonious.
Yes.
I think he listened to that second episode, heard me say I deserve an apology, and decided, okay, I need to, I forgot a part of the voicemail was like, I'm driving right now and I just finished listening to your podcast. So he was driving at 2 a.m., just finished it, and had just heard me say I deserve an apology. So he was like, I need to clear my conscience. I'm going to do this. That's the right thing to do. But he knew that calling me at 2 a.m. was probably most likely going to guarantee that I wouldn't answer. So he wouldn't actually have to talk to me. Yeah. He would be able to leave me just a, short, shitty voicemail. I didn't really expect anything more. I didn't expect anything really other than I was just kind of bracing myself for something.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I appreciate the effort to a certain extent. It just is, again, like demonstrative of how he is, and that's fine. Like he is who he is, and that's okay. And I accept that. I guess I accept the apology to a certain extent. I don't know. It's interesting too, it was very insightful comment. Right. Of like, what was insightful? Did I like peg you exactly for like who you are and how avoidant you are and like how you fell short in all these ways? Yeah. Was it insightful in that I was absolutely right about Tori from start to finish? You met her in Miami and all the way up until the end, like in my, my guess of what happened with everything. Like, was it insightful in that way? Was it insightful in both? Was it insightful in something else? I have no idea what that means.
He certainly didn't deny anything.
No, he
or was
did
he
not.
like, no, you were wrong about the cheating? Like, none of that was in the voicemail.
Nope.
You also mentioned before that this, after recording the episodes and even with this voicemail, was kind of a release for you, or that you were able to really fully close the chapter.
Yeah, the night before the second episode went out, when I was getting the out of context pics ready to go for the next day, and I picked a song to go with it. I picked the I Wish You Hate Me, or I Wish I Hated You, excuse me, by Ariana Grande, because when that album came out after he and I broke up, I listened to that one and I would just cry to it all the time, because that's how I really aligned with that song.
Yeah.
And then I picked it, and it ended up just coming full circle and being kind of interesting because of his message of, so you hate me.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, I don't hate you. I wish I did. But once I was getting that ready and the song and everything, I was like, emotional and crying about it. And I finally felt like, okay, I said out loud, goodbye, weatherman, and felt like it was finally done and I was closing the door and that was it. And so a few days later, when I got the voicemail from him and he called me, normally that would have sent me into a stupor and I would have been like totally affected by it and sad. And it kind of just didn't really do anything for me. It just was kind of this like breaking news. This just happened. But otherwise, I didn't cry. I wasn't upset. I wasn't anything other than just like a little bit shocked that he had called and left that voicemail. But that was about it.
That's huge. Yeah, that would have definitely sent you into a spiral.
Yeah, when he texted me
ago.
in April, it definitely was like heavy on me for sure. It was like, I was questioning for a few days, should I respond? How would I respond? Is it smart to respond? And ultimately decided not to. But with this voicemail, I pretty immediately was like, no, there's nothing to say to this. There's no reason to. And I don't think there's anything
that's all you're going to get. Yeah. That's all you're going to get. The chapter's really closed. I don't know if we're going to get another weatherman update. We might.
You never know. Yeah. You never know. The wolf is the gift that keeps on giving, and the weatherman I don't think will be as much, but who freaking knows?
Yeah.
So that's that. I did get my apology, even though it was, in his own little half-ass way. Still got it to an extent. Okay, Thelonious. Okay. Are you ready to talk more about your breakup?
Thelonious. Mm-hmm. It's just so shitty. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Interesting talking about it last night, processing it more today. And like when you're going through a breakup, which this is my second breakup I've ever gone through now, really. Mm-hmm. Well, like, I kind of ended it with things with Shrek Chlamydia guy in January, and
my brain went to Travis.
My 14. Yeah. This is certainly like other than my ex-husband, I feel like my first real like adult relationship breakup.
Yeah.
And it sucks. I'm sure a lot of my experiences people can relate to. Like today, there was moments where I was so depressed and I was crying and I had a lot of anxiety or feelings and whatnot. And I don't know if other people do this, but when I have so much like tension and sadness and anxiety, I have to be like, like I make these noises. So I was doing that a lot.
A hippo emerging out of the water.
Yeah. I'm sure there's a thing in therapy where they're like, release it like however you need to. And
yeah,
I did feel better when I went to Pilates and worked out. Like that's a release for me. And I also had moments today where I felt like a hot bad bitch and it was like, oh, I'm single now. Yay. And just back and forth. So that's where my head's at right now. We broke up a few days ago. I'm going to call him Alex. We were together for 4 months. I only just talked about him on the podcast for the first time, like last couple episodes ago, and I just hard launched him on Instagram. We just went to Mexico, so it kind of sucks to be like, I was so excited. I was feeling good about it. And the first date was 4 months ago, met on Bumble. Things were going well from the beginning. Like, there was pretty instant chemistry. It was a pretty normal dating experience. He was very chivalrous. He was the complete opposite of my ex-husband, which I liked. It's kind of nice, I think, when you're used to one thing to have something completely different. So he was like always holding the door open for me and paying for everything, and was very attentive and masculine and making reservations. And I was like, wow, okay, like, he's taking initiative. This feels really nice that he's pursuing me. We had a similar sense of humor. He was an IT guy. He was very organized, responsible, a little bit more quiet, a little more introverted, but still like to have fun. Like, we had a lot of things in common, but also we're complete opposites in a lot of ways of just our personalities. But it kind of worked. Like, sometimes people say opposites attract, and I think that's what me and Alex were in a lot of ways. And then after he and I were dating for about a month and a half ish, that's when I started to do more reflection, and it was getting to that point of, are we going to become official or not, like boyfriend, girlfriend? And I started to have these gut feelings. I don't think this is my person. And I remember talking about it in therapy, and I remember thinking, like, is it okay to date someone if I think they're not going to be my husband? And my therapist was like, well, it's up to you. Like, you don't have to date for the purpose of getting married necessarily, but I knew that he wanted something serious. I want to be like a grown up about it. I don't want to waste anyone's time. I don't want to cut too early, but I also just was feeling like he and I were too different. And my main things the first time I broke up with him were, I felt like he thought I drank too much, because he outright told me that he had concerns about, I guess, my general lifestyle. And I just for our listeners, I guess, I don't drink any day or every day. I think we go out on the weekends. And that's just been kind of a habit since I've been single, and it's not something I see myself doing for the rest of my life, but at the same time, like, it always will be, I feel like something you and I will do. We like to have fun. We like to have a few cocktails, and that's just something I'm not really looking to change my habits for a person. So when he wasn't a big drinker, hardly at all. So when he flagged that as a concern, that was a concern for me, because very early on I was thinking, like, I don't want to change who I am. I spent so much of my marriage and just who I've been for 30 years of my life, I feel like, living for other people and not really honoring myself. So I was so scared of changing. And so it was that, and it was my friends. I think he made some comments every now and then that made me think he thought they were bad influences on me. He always kept saying, like, my life was so chaotic, or there was so much drama, and like all of these things. And I mean, kind of, but we got to talk about something on the podcast. Like, I like that. Yeah. And another thing was he was not into the cosplay, really, hardly at all. He would say, like, I'm interested, but then just really wouldn't show interest. Like, he didn't ever follow the account. I actually went, it was one moment when he and I first started dating, I was at WonderCon in March, and this was a big weekend for me. It was one of the first times I cosplayed on my own, and I was kind of hoping he would maybe want to go or show up or see more pictures, but I didn't hear from him like that entire weekend. And he and I were dating, like, we had a pretty consistent habit of communication at this point. Like, we were seeing each other regularly. We were talking every day. And I think for him, he was like, oh, I'm going to give you some space. And I was like, ugh, this is such a big weekend for me. And I kind of was hoping he'd be a little bit more like, hope it goes really well today. Send me a bunch of pictures. And then, like, I'm used to my ex-husband cosplaying with me. And this is a huge part of my life, honestly. And he just didn't seem all that interested in it. And then I showed up at his apartment, his condo, after the last day of WonderCon, and I was in my Princess Peach cosplay. And I remember thinking, like, ha ha ha. Because in the past, any guy I've dated or like been hooked up with, they've all like loved the cosplay thing. And I get really excited to be like, look at my Princess Peach wig. Like, this is awesome. And I remember walking in and he just was kind of like off put by it. He didn't like it and was just like, okay, when are you going to take it off? Are you going to take it off? And I was like, really? Oh. At first I was like, well, that's okay. Like, maybe he's not going to be in the cosplay thing and I don't need that in a relationship. Like, I went back and forth between like what is important to me, and it's fine if he doesn't cosplay with me, but over time it started to feel like it's not so much of, oh, he's not going to cosplay with me. It just kind of felt like he didn't love those things about me, including the podcast as well. So that was another thing of he was not very interested in the podcast. I invited him to the podcast launch party and he didn't go. Granted, like, he and I weren't official boyfriend and girlfriend at that point. And so I think it would have been like an overwhelming event for him to meet all of my friends. But I was still kind of bummed because I was like, I think I want to be with a person who would still want to go to this.
Yeah, it was like kind of pulling teeth to get him to be interested in like the thing, like your passion projects, cosplay and the podcast. He didn't really get it. He didn't really see the value. He kind of like, wasn't super interested, and that was deflating. Yeah.
It's the kind of thing where like he might ask about it and then I start to talk about it, and then when you can tell someone's not interested.
Yeah.
They don't ask follow-up questions.
It was like a courtesy.
Yeah.
To ask about it, not
totally.
Like general interest.
So then it just shuts me down.
Interest. Yeah.
So it was like a month and a half into the relationship. I called him rather out of the blue, and I didn't give him this whole list of reasons at the time because we had only been dating 6 weeks and it felt kind of weird to do that. I just said, hey, I'm really sorry about this. Like, you've been great, but I just have this gut feeling that you're not the one for me and I think I need to end it. He didn't take it great. We didn't talk for about a week. He was confused. He was upset. He was like, okay, what the heck? I thought it was going well. He reached out and asked if we could meet up in person about a week later. And I agreed. I was hoping I would be able to explain myself a little bit more. So I went to this meeting in person with a whole list of things saying like, these are all of my red flags that I've had the first 6 weeks of you and I dating. And this is basically why I broke up with you. And I went through all of them. I was like so nervous. It's like, this is a weird thing to do, but he took it well, all things considered. He had a response to everything. He really was like, why do you think I don't support this? Why do you think? He's like, I don't have a problem with you drinking. Like, I was worried at first, but now it seems fine as long as you're not going to be like exactly like this when we have kids or whatnot. And I like your cosplay. I like your podcast. How can I show that more? Like, he was really like, you didn't give me a chance and you didn't tell me what was wrong. And so you just cut it off and ran. And really early on too, he labeled me as an avoidant and was just like, oh, Megan's afraid of intimacy. She just cut it off and she ran. Oh my God. He had all of these responses. He shared stuff with me. I was crying. We were hugging. We ended up having sex. Okay, are we back together now? It was just kind of, okay, bye. He had to go. So then I just was so confused. I was like, I guess we're back. And then we just started going back to normal. And I remember feeling conflicted at the time of like, okay, we had this conversation. I am feeling better. I'm glad I told him all of these things and it didn't scare him away. Oh, the other thing I told him, I'm remembering now, I didn't tell him about what happened with me and my ex-husband.
Oh, you're right.
I didn't tell him anything about my ex-husband, including in the end, I ended up having an affair. And I was really worried to tell him that because I just got this feeling he wouldn't take it well. And I knew I was going to talk about it on the podcast.
Yeah.
So I also broke it off before then because I just kind of thought that Alex wouldn't want to be with me anymore. So I told him this in the park as well. I was like, let me tell you about my affair. It was literally like just me dumping all of like, these are all of my concerns. These are all of my worries. Honest. Yeah. I was very honest and none of it scared him away. He had a response to everything. He still wanted to be with me. He's like, let's make this work. And I kind of was like, okay, my anxiety isn't completely gone, but I didn't feel ready. I really felt like I needed to give it a second chance at that point. And I did. I remember talking about it in therapy of like, I need to be fully myself in this relationship. and I need to like not hold back even if I think he's going to disapprove of something. I need to make sure because I'm such a people pleaser. And like, shout out to my people pleasers out there. If you're in a new relationship or you're dating someone, like I have this tendency to try to get them to like me as much as possible. And I'm so do they like me? And you don't think enough about, do I like them? And am I being my most authentic self possible? Because you may as well come exactly as you are, how you're gonna be, so that you don't trap yourself into being this person that you're not.
So important.
So the second time around, I remember thinking like, okay, I'm not going to stop drinking with my friends. I'm not going to stop. Like, I'm still good. I'm going to talk about the podcast. I'm going to talk about cosplay. I'm just going to like be myself. I'm going to be outgoing. I'm going to be, I don't know, myself as fully as possible to see if this is really going to work out. And that's what I did. And at first things were going really well, especially right when we got back together. I feel like we were even stronger. We were having these weekly check-in chats because he was in therapy as well. And he is so organized, and we had a shared calendar, and like a one-on-one you'd have with your manager, we had scheduled one-on-ones where we would check in with each other, which seemed like a lot, and it was, but at the same time, it was nice to be able to have a space to share any of these concerns, especially because I had already broken up with him once. And so those were happening. And overall, it was like a healthy relationship, but the same kind of concerns and doubts were not really subsiding. I was pushing him down too a little bit, I think. And then another one was coming up of I didn't think he really loved the way I dressed.
Yeah.
It'd be little tiny comments here. At first it was, you wear too much athleisure. You know, you're always in yoga pants. You're always in shorts. Whenever we hang out, I never get to see you in dresses or something. And I was offended by that at first. I was like, take me on more dates then.
Right.
And then he's like, well, you know, you could just wear a dress for like an hour or something and then you can change. And I was like, okay. I ended up.
That's weird. That's like kind of a weird request, in my opinion. Just show up in a dress for an hour and then change. Like,
I thought it was weird at first too. And then I leaned into it. But that is definitely an example of me changing.
Just like, I don't, going above and beyond to like, meet this request that's just kind of like, if you're just going to go over to his house and like hang out and like watch a show or something, like,
which we did that a lot.
Why do I need to get like dressed up in a dress for an hour?
Right.
Why is that a big deal to you? Like, don't you just like me for me, like no matter what the fuck I show up in?
Yeah. I mean, I feel like I have mixed feelings on it.
Yeah.
I do feel that. Like, that was my initial thought of like, we were going to each other's houses a lot.
Yeah.
And well, I do really I like to wear lingerie. Like, I like to get cute, and I like to have them. Like, if it's important to him, then okay, I'll try. But then it kind of became this thing where I wouldn't wear yoga pants around him anymore. I was wearing dresses and skirts, and I was buying dresses.
Yeah, you were.
I was running out of dresses. I was not compensated for said dresses. Yeah, and I also wear a lot of big giant t-shirts to bed, but like I was like buying more like little sexy nightgowns to bed.
Sure.
And it was like I was really trying.
Well, but then you would wear the dresses and he would make comments about the dresses that he didn't like, that like, oh, that one's too short. Oh, I can see your nipples. Oh, like that one fits you weird. Like,
yeah. He definitely had opinions on my dresses. There was one dress in particular that he thought I bought specifically for him. I actually bought it for the Catalina Wine Mixer. It's that blue one, the blue white one.
Yeah.
And he legitimately got mad at me and he hadn't seen it yet.
What?
He got like kind of salty about it.
That's so weird.
He later apologized for it. It was like, I shouldn't have acted that way.
What a weird thing to get mad about.
I remember that was like a little like flag for me too. I was like, that's a weird thing to get upset about.
Like a dress fetish?
I I think he just liked me being
a dreadish.
I don't think it's like a fetish. It's just like the femininity of it, or liked it when I was cute or tried, or and it did start to change what I wore, and I was wearing a lot of dresses, and I mean, part of me liked being cute, but then I think I'm used to my ex-husband who was so outgoing and charismatic, and sometimes I would be really excited to show Alex like a new outfit or a new lingerie or something, and his reaction was always pretty subdued. And I don't think that's something that is wrong about him. It's just something that is not right for me. And it's like one of those things of like, that's just his personality. And it's like all of these little things of, I need someone, if I walk into the door in a new dress or like especially new lingerie or something, I want them to be like, wow, oh my God. Or
especially if the request is being made from them for you to like, get these things.
I want someone to like worship me. That's so much to ask. I feel like that's like a normal female. Like I don't want to like do all this work to wear a dress on a Thursday night after working all day and working out to just have this like very subdued reaction.
But it's interesting that you said like, that's just who he is and that's his personality and that's fine. It's just not right for me. That's the difference between how you handled this situation versus how he handled the relationship is like he, which we haven't talked about yet, but we will, like all along the way, I feel like was trying to kind of give you these subtle little hints of passive aggressive comment here, you know, praise and conditioning there to like slowly change you, versus you were kind of like, this is who he is and I'm just not down with it forever, you know?
No, and I wasn't ever trying to change him.
Yeah.
I was never like, Alex, can you be super way more excited for me?
Yeah.
Like I didn't say that.
Yeah.
Like there's sometimes in relationships you ask for things, but like I wasn't trying to change who he was, but I just couldn't shake the feeling that that's what was happening with me.
Yeah. There are things missing.
There was just things missing, and we went, but it was enough right things were happening for me to not see it so quickly, because it was,
I still think you saw it very quickly, but like,
yeah. True. I mean, all things considered, like we were only official boyfriend and girlfriend for a month. We had been together 4 months, but it was only like official at that point.
Yeah.
And it so easily could have gone on for like a year, or we could have gotten married, or because there was so many things that were good, but I just knew he wasn't the one for me. And we ended up going on this trip to Mexico because he really wanted to travel with me. I think in some ways, to really see if you're right for a person, you spend a lot of time together, you learn a lot. And the trip was good, but it was like coming back from that trip, I still kind of had this like, again, there was a couple comments about my outfits while we were there. We kind of had an early night every night, when I think deep down I would have loved to like go out dancing. I would have loved to be a little crazier. That's just kind of who I am, and it's not who he is. And I didn't want to drag him out to some gay clubs with me, but that's just, I kind of left thinking like, I don't know if that's exactly what I would have wanted. And then it was the hectic weekend we had last weekend where I did the bikini photo shoot and went out in Gaslamp. And it was that weekend where I was just starting to, these little tiny, like all these red flags and anxieties were creeping back up for me. And I was feeling like I needed to like test him. And I was also talking about, I don't feel like I can break up with him. I don't feel like I have evidence to do so. And she was kind of like, why do you need evidence, Megan? If it doesn't feel right, then do it. But I remember thinking like, last time I broke up with him, it didn't work.
Totally.
Yeah. And I would try to explain things to him, and then he would confuse me, or he would tell me I'm wrong. And I was like, I need evidence. And I was like, well, I have this bikini photo shoot coming up. I told him I had a photo shoot, but I didn't detail exactly what I was going to be wearing. And I had this feeling he wouldn't be happy about it. And so I was like, I'm just going to do it and see what he says. And kind of as a test. And then again, going out that night in Gaslamp for Andrea's birthday, of I am going to go do exactly what I would do and see what he says. Meaning, like, I'm going to probably get kind of drunk. Like, I'm going to go out with my girlfriends. I'm going to be safe.
Drunk call you.
I'm going to drunk call. Like, I drunk texted him. I called him. I wasn't trying to, like, hide what I was doing or temper myself in any way. And I was just testing to see how he'd respond. And when I sent him a picture of the bikini cosplay, it took him a while to reply. And then he responded with a little, like, gif of, I'm going to tell your mom. And then he jokingly called me a hooch. And that was it. And it didn't make me feel great.
Nope.
Because what I really wanted is someone to say, like, you look so sexy. That's like, good luck. I hope it goes great. Oh my gosh. I want
Call me after, whatever. Yeah.
I want someone to comment on my cosplay posts with, like, heart eyes. Like, I want someone to, like, hype me up.
Yeah.
Publicly and privately. Like, and so
Support.
I didn't feel particularly hyped up.
Nope.
And he didn't outright say, I don't want you to wear that. I don't want you to post it. But he's made comments when we first started dating about not liking my Bowsette cosplay. And so it's like, I could sense he wasn't.
And that you weren't his girlfriend yet, so he didn't feel like he had a say.
Yeah. Before we were boyfriend and girlfriend, I asked him what he thought about my Bowsette cosplay, which I had fishnet tights. My ass was out. It was a little sexy. And he said, well, I'm not your boyfriend, so I can't really say how I feel about it. And that comment, that's just not me. And I'm not going to waver on that so early in a relationship. And so I was kind of frustrated because I could feel that that's how he felt, but he wasn't telling me that. And so there was that. And then it was going out that night. You know, I called him, I texted him. I was trying to kind of be like, hey. And I basically got radio silence from him. I didn't get anything. And then it's always it's the next morning of not asking, like, did you have fun? How'd it go? Oh my gosh. It's all like, oh, are you hungover? And it's the little conditioning comments of the things he didn't approve of. You can tell over time. And then the things he is really proud of you for, like wearing a cute dress, going to Pilates. If I had, like, he's always really pushing me to try harder in my corporate career, which is great. But also, like, I really care about these passion projects, which he would just,
He was shit about.
Yeah. Trying to get me to, like, read these books about how to, not following the podcast on Instagram or following it on, and it was that weekend in particular.
It's like he wasn't straight out telling you, I don't support these things. I do support these things. But his behavior over time and his little comments over time were equaling to a pattern of, I know exactly how he feels about like, every area of my life, whether it's approval or disapproval.
Yeah. And then the last night we spent together, he told me, I see a lot of potential in you.
Fucking hell.
And that was a weird comment. I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I just see a lot of potential as you as like a future like wife, like future mother of my kids. And I was like, huh. And I later talked about it in therapy and I was like, why was that not like, I see potential in us? Like, it always just felt like I was this project he was working on.
Yeah.
Like, how can he make me a better adult? Like, he also was like,
how can he prime you to be a perfect wife and mother down the road?
Which there was some,
who doesn't cosplay and doesn't podcast and doesn't drink.
Yeah. Who he's always on me about things like getting my car cleaned, going to the dentist, doing all these adult things. And it kind of got in my head a little bit of like, oh, I'm like a bad adult. I need him to help me, or I like this. Like, it kind of conditioned me to like it. And then when I would take some steps back, like my therapist would be like, are you a bad adult, Megan? Like,
no. In fact, I took care of myself and my husband single-handedly for 7 years.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need you to tell me to do these things.
And
help is nice. Support is great. Reminders, yeah, sure, if you need them. But, like, you don't need that.
At times
you
it
need
felt
an
like
equal
that.
partner.
Right.
It was trying to get you there.
Yeah. And I was never trying to improve him. No. Or change anything about him or do any. It was always just this like, how can we improve Megan?
Really and weird.
Then the things I kept asking of like, the cosplay and the podcast are so important to me. They just were always, he never cared. And like, that's okay if you're, but then don't
say to my face, I do when you like bring it up.
That's okay if you don't care about those things, but like maybe you shouldn't be with that person if that's like a core value to them.
Yeah.
It's like, I think he just didn't want to let me go. And so when I'd ask him to his face, yeah, he'd be like, no, I do support you. What are you talking about?
Yeah. But he would never show it.
Right.
In fact, he would show the opposite.
To the point where it started to like fuck with my reality a little bit and left me just confused. And it sucked because I really liked this person and we had a lot of good things going for us. It's like genuinely, if I wasn't so self-aware, I feel like I could have spent a long time, like maybe have married them. But I just, after all of this and talking with you kind of throughout the whole relationship and talking with my therapist, there was a moment for some reason in bar class where I just was like crying the whole time because I emotionally process when I work out, and I just was like, ooh, yeah, I think I have to end it. And then you happened to come over to my apartment after that, and you could tell something was wrong. Well,
I could tell something was wrong because I see your leg step out of your car across the parking lot.
Yeah.
And I'm like, Thelonious, what are you doing? And you're like, I just took a power nap in my car. And I'm like, ruh-roh. Because you've only done that one other time, and I don't remember when it was, but it was a time you weren't doing well. So I was like, Thelonious, come get a hug. And then we went inside, and I'm like, what's up? And you're like, I'm just so anxious. And you came, sat on the couch. We started breaking it down, and I was able to kind of lead you to the understanding of that you were kind of being gaslit a little bit.
Yeah.
And then you had therapy the next day, and your therapist was like, hey, Megan,
yeah,
I think you might be being gaslit. And you're like, oh, Rachel said the same thing last night.
Yeah, my therapist validated you.
Yeah.
And it sucked, and I don't think people realize they're doing it. A lot of people don't.
Because you had the check-in with him on that Sunday, and said, hey, I don't think that you liked my bikini photo shoot. I don't think that you liked that I went out last night because this is how you're behaving. And he said, do you like, that's not true. I'm totally fine with it. Yeah.
I remember being like, you really don't have a problem with anything that I wear? And he was like, no.
But then the next morning I come over here. What did I come over here for? Oh, to like podcast or something. It was something for the podcast.
Yeah.
And you're wearing a dress that I knew was new because I had never seen it before. And I was like, Thelonious, that's such a cute
dress I bought for Alex.
That you bought for him? I said, Thelonious, that's such a cute dress. And you said, thanks. He just said that it fit me weird. And like, that was the first thing that you said to me. And I was like, I don't think it fits you weird. I think it's cute. So, what did he say? I like the way you dress or whatever.
Yeah, he said he didn't have a problem with how he dressed.
And then he makes a negative comment about how you dress.
Yeah.
The next morning.
And he'd make comments about dresses being too short, about my nipples being out, about just like, I think he just would have liked me to dress a little more modestly, honestly.
He wanted to change you. He didn't quite like how you are right now. And he wanted to change you.
Like, oh, Megan would be perfect if just these things were different.
Just gotta
she has potential.
Trim some rough edges here.
She has potential. And I'm like, yeah. I just want someone to like, after everything I've been through.
Yeah.
And after this whole last year of working on myself, and I just don't want to be with someone who wants to make me better.
You are authentically you right now, more than you ever have.
More than I ever have. And I think that's also what kind of hurts. And like in general, Alex didn't like to be outwardly supportive of controversial topics. And at one point, I don't even know if I told you this, but this was right after he and I became boyfriend and girlfriend.
Okay.
It was almost like a couple days later. And we were talking about the election coming up and posting. And I'm not the most vocal person politically on Instagram, but there are certain issues that I just will die on a hill on. Like women's rights, right to choose, LGBTQIA rights, like trans rights, all of these things. Like I just care passionately about that. And I'm not going to be made to feel bad for like posting that on my account. And we were talking about it, and he's like, do you post like about political stuff like during presidential elections? And I was like, yeah, sometimes. I'm usually going to share who I vote for. And then he's like, well, we have to think about that because we have like a joint reputation now. He said something about like, you need to, like, we have a reputation together. And I was like, that was a weird comment.
Dude, it's like low-key, a little controlling and weird. Like, it's definitely...
It's like slightly controlling. And I even
if it's like that in the beginning?
Yeah.
6 months from now? A year from now?
10 years from now?
Yeah. No.
And I brought up, I used the word controlling at one point when we were having a conversation last Sunday, and he just was like, I'm not controlling. I'm having a lot of conversations about pride because it's Pride Month and there's pride flags everywhere. And I was so excited about that. I was like, this is great. I didn't know that this was a gay haven of Mexico, but I loved it. And I think it made him just slightly uncomfortable. Not that I think that he was outright homophobic or didn't. It's like, I think he and I aligned really on our values of where we might vote, but it made him uncomfortable to be like outwardly supportive of it, to the point on Sunday when I was like going through this list, I asked him like, okay, now that we're on the topic, like, what would you do if we had a gay kid? Like, if you, and he was kind of hemming and hawing and was just like, why are you asking this? Or I'd want to know who they were hanging out with, because why would a kid be gay or something like that? And I just, like, that to me was a big red flag as well of, I just need someone to really align with me on this, who's going to just be like, I'm going to love my kid no matter what, who they choose to love, how they identify gender roles or anything, like gender expression. I mean, so yeah, that was another thing that came up on Sunday night, to the point where I saw you after bar. I realized we're just too different. Yeah. He's not a bad person.
He's just not your person.
He's just not my person. And he doesn't accept.
And he was trying to make you his person.
Yeah.
By changing you.
Yeah.
To be what he wanted.
I literally was picturing this future with him of, we have a kid, they like come out as gay, and him being like, not okay
rejecting
with it. Yeah. And so that's really when I knew. And then, with the help of you, with the help of my therapist, I knew I needed to break it off. He could tell something was wrong. He almost was bracing himself for me to break up with him.
Which is just like it was last time. It was this weird deja vu thing. It happened like almost exactly like it happened the time before.
The time of the call was almost the exact same time as well. Yeah. It was like a 4 p.m. breakup call. And it was a really short conversation. And
because he hung up on you.
Because what?
Because he hung up on you.
Yes. I had a really nice thing. I practiced it. I told him, like, this is really hard because I really like you and I see a future with you, and we get along so well, but I just think we're too different and our values don't align, and I don't think that you're my person, and I don't think that you're mine, and I think you're going to be a great dad and a great husband one day. I just don't think that's going to be with me, and I'm sorry, but we need to end it. And there was this long pause, and he said, I don't understand. I don't agree, but whatever. I'm not going to pursue someone who doesn't pursue me. And then he hung up. And I was sobbing, and like, it definitely sucks, but through more conversations, more reflection, talking about it just now, I'm just sure that this wasn't my person.
Well, I'm laughing because he said, I'm not going to pursue somebody that doesn't want to pursue me. And then he followed up with 2 things that he texted you.
He called me later, and then I didn't answer. He sent me another follow-up text, this article about avoidant attachment style, and said, how does this align with us? Because he is really, and he had me thinking I was avoidant.
No, if you were avoidant, you would have done weatherman things, and you would have just trickled away and barely talked to him for a week until he had no choice but to break up with you because you were unreachable,
right,
and causing chaos.
Yeah.
And you didn't do that. You decided, and 24 hours later you ended it.
Yes.
And communicated responsibly.
Yeah. I don't have avoidant attachment style. I thought I did.
Nope.
I don't. And I think that that's the narrative he is giving in his head of, Megan is afraid of intimacy. She's running away.
No.
And it's not that.
You just don't want to be with him.
If anything, part of what makes this so sad is like, I want intimacy. Like this whole relationship and being in a committed relationship for the first time since my ex-husband has made me realize like I am ready for commitment. I don't know if I'm not ready to get married tomorrow. I'm still legally married, but like I am ready for a partner and the intimacy and being with someone exclusive and building that relationship. And it made me feel so safe and happy. And some of my most favorite moments were just cuddling in bed and watching TV. And I was like, oh, this is so nice. Like I forgot what that felt like and I am ready for it. I think I'm like emotionally ready. It's just not with that person, and I'm not going to waste my time or their time with someone who's not right for me. After you and I spent a long time with someone who wasn't.
We already did that for over 10 years. We're good on that.
And it really hurts to hurt a person. Like that's really like that's where a lot of my sadness and depression has come from, is like missing him, but then also knowing I've hurt him. And I don't know if he'll listen to this. I feel like I want to say like it might be frustrating to listen to possibly. I've tried to communicate a lot of these things along the way. So I hope that a lot of it's not a surprise. Hopefully it is a helpful reflection. Maybe some of these things I didn't get perfectly right, or my perception of your perspective. But like ultimately I feel like we just weren't each other's person.
Yeah.
But I can also say I learned a lot about what I do want in a partner because of Alex. And there was a lot of really good things I liked about him and things I'm going to miss.
Yeah, of course.
But that's like what dating is too. And I learned a lot about myself and what I'm looking for. Yeah, I just didn't want to waste his
You're
time.
narrowing your scope of like, I learned that, oh, there are people out here with these qualities, and cool, I'm going to look for that in this next person. And I'm going to make sure that they don't have these ones that I didn't like in this relationship. And you just get closer to every wrong person that you go through gets you closer to the right one. So,
and like, I genuinely hope he finds his right one soon. And yeah, if anyone else has experience with, I don't want to call it necessarily like, it's not like it was intense controlling or gaslighting or anything, but just this like signs conditioning these feelings all along that it wasn't right. Maybe your partner trying to make you someone that you're not. Like I am kind of curious in other people's experience in this area, because this was something new for me. Because my ex-husband, one thing I really loved about him is that he supported me in any expression, in any way I wanted to present myself, whatever I wanted to do, who I want, like. That was one thing I really liked about my ex. So it's like, I was like, oh, I liked these things. I like those things about this person. It's like, you do kind of just start to realize what you're really looking for at the end of the day. I think I even went longer today than I did yesterday.
It's okay, Thelonious. I'm proud of you. And every time you talk about it, you process it more. So it's good.
I did. Yeah. That was a lot of processing.
And ultimately, I think ultimate takeaway is that you learn to build trust with yourself.
Yeah.
Because your gut was right from the beginning, as we like to always come back to on this podcast. And you going back to him the second time and trying it again really just confirmed that, of like, yeah, I was right that first time. You tried to convince me otherwise, and that I was wrong and I ran away because I'm scared. And that's not what it was. Yeah. I knew that this wasn't right. And now I just spent another 2 months confirming that for sure. And so now I can feel super confident in walking away. And next time, maybe I'll trust myself faster, quicker, more resolutely, you know?
Yeah.
Which is good.
Hell yeah. I mean, honestly,
same
like
thing for me too, kind of like the weatherman kind of tried to gaslight me. Like, no, you're putting the wolf things on me. Like, I'm not doing that. You can trust me. Even though my gut was like, something's wrong with this. Like something's fishy. Something's not right. This feels shady. And then he's like, no, you can trust me. I'm not doing that. And then boom, no, my gut was right. I'm not crazy. I'm not just like trauma responding because of 10 years of being with that other person who was doing that to me. Like, no, I can trust myself. I can. Yeah. Like that's so, I'm going to pay attention next time. I'm not going to make that other person make me feel crazy for that. And it's just like, oh, you're just wired that way now because you're damaged. Totally. Like, no, that's education.
Yeah. That's what my therapist said.
That is literally baggage. Like, it's education.
And building trust with yourself.
Yeah.
Through this. 1000%. So it's not like it was a waste. And like, relationships ending does not mean it's a failure either. Not at all. And
no,
so
not if you learned.
Yeah. So that's my story.
Proud of you, Thelonious.
Thank you. We're going to have a little single hot girl summer now.
I was just going to say that.
Are you?
Secure attachment style single summer.
Yes. I think you and I probably, if anything, lean more towards anxious attachment style.
Yeah.
But we are going to.
We do. You're not avoidant.
I'm not avoidant. I'm really not.
No.
I think I just knew Alex wasn't the right person.
Yeah.
So it seemed like I was being avoidant, but it's like, no, the avoidance was me.
Like trying to pull back and figure out what I need to do here.
Right.
Which you only did for like a couple days, and then you communicated in a healthy way.
Yeah.
And ended the relationship. So we're
anxious,
more
girlies.
anxious, but we're working towards secure because we're
Secure
very
attachment
therapized.
style summer.
I'm very self-aware.
We talk about therapy so much.
It's a really big part of our lives and how we are the way that we are. This whole last year, like we can chalk it so much up to therapy.
Oh, I had therapy the day before I broke up with Alex, and then the morning after.
Yeah.
No, the day I broke up and the morning after. It was back to back.
Yes.
It was like the pre, and then the postmortem.
Yep.
It was so helpful.
Yeah. God.
I know.
We would die without our therapist. Tomorrow is being free from the wolf.
I love that.
So it's going to be and now you're single. And so we're going to just like get cute tomorrow. We're going to get our nails done. We're going to like go to fancy bars and maybe pick up some rich men.
Yes.
And just like have a fun time.
And I have Anime Expo next week.
Yeah, you do. So and I'm going to New Jersey.
And you're going to New Jersey. So we're going to have a lot to report on when we get back from that as well.
Uh-huh.
I have 4 days of cosplaying in downtown Los Angeles, and you're going to go find your husband on the East Coast.
Yeah, I don't think I've said this on the podcast yet. My little sister, she's the baby. I'm the oldest of four. And they've been together for a couple years, and he's from New Jersey. Mm-hmm. He was out here visiting when she's been home for the summer for college, and I met up with them for drinks. And over some drinks, he's like, yeah, my mom is obsessed with having you come out to New Jersey. And I've never met his mom. And I was like, why? Your mom is obsessed with me coming. And he's like, yeah, she just like wants to go out to the bars with you and find you a rich husband. And I'm like, I can get down with that. And I
say less.
Yeah. I was like, well, I'm not moving to New Jersey. They'd have to move for me. And Marco's like, oh, they will. And then my sister's like, seriously, come. It would be so much fun. Like she was going to go in a couple weeks or whatever. And I was like, I'll seriously come. And she's like, she didn't really believe me. And then the next day I sent her a screenshot and I was like, I'm looking at this flight. How does that sound? And then I bought it. I don't even have my return ticket yet. I still don't have it, Thelonious.
Oh my gosh.
I know.
Come back, please.
I'm going to come back. I'm just going to go have a wild weekend in New Jersey and Marco's mom's going to take me to the bars and set me up.
You're going to go celebrate freedom.
I'm going to go.
Independence Day.
This Saturday is my Independence Day.
Yeah.
Rachel Wilford Independence Day.
Are we going to do the wedding dress Target?
Ooh, I don't think we have time. Let's do it for like my would-be wedding day on July 28th.
Okay.
Let's do that.
Okay.
But 29, it'll just be like celebratory Rachel Wilford Independence Day.
Yay.
Oh, that's fun.
I love that.
Oh, that's should it be Rachel Independence Day or like the Wolf Independence Day? No.
Rachel Independence Day.
Yeah, like fuck him.
Yeah, we don't need the wolf.
Rachel Wilford Independence Day.
I love that.
Perfect.
Wow, we've been yapping for a while.
Yeah, we have, and we yapped a lot yesterday too. So
oh my God,
we need a nap in after all that yapping.
We are officially yapped out.
Yapped and tapped, baby. As always, make sure to rate, review, and subscribe anywhere you listen to podcasts. It really helps us because there might be other women, men out there that maybe need to listen to these things. And so every time that you give us a star or a review or whatever, it helps our podcast just like reach the right people. Share it with somebody that you think it might help. And don't forget to follow us on social media at the.traumedy.show. And if you have any trauma bonding things you want to write in, our email address is thetraumedyshow.pod@gmail.com. We got one the other week, but we just haven't had time to read it yet, so we will. But if you have more, write them in, and we'll like read a few at a time next episode. It'd be awesome.
Should we still do boats and hoes?
Okay, yeah, we can end with boats.
Yay! Okay.
Okay. The Santa Maria.
It's in my dad's boat. You won't go down because my dick can't float.
You sail around the world and go port to port. Every time I come, I produce a quart.
Put on the life dress.
Put on your
Dress. What, did Alex write this?
Oh my God! Trigger.
Put on a life vest. Let's drop anchor. There's a nice lady whore. I'd like to spank her. Boats and hoes.
Did you mean Lady Hooch?
There's a nice lady hooch.
You hooch in your dress? I can't.
Boats and hoes. Boats and hoes. Gotta get me some boats and hoes. All right, bye.
Bye.